So, special episode, dropping the bike. Can you believe it? I told you from the very beginning, I'm going to tell you all the mistakes I make. And this is number, if you're keeping count, 5 and 6. Because 5, I dropped the bike. 6, I dropped the bike again. Dropped the bike twice. So the first time was my trip to Myrtle Beach. I didn't put it in a video, but I knew I was going to come to it eventually. When we got down to the Cape May, Lewes, Delaware ferry, and got onto the ferry with the metal deck. I put my kickstand down to lean my bike over, and on the metal deck, the kickstand just kept sliding. And it apparently wasn't fully out, so it slid backwards, and I just kept leaning over with the bike, waiting for that kickstand to hit, and I could hear the metal kickstand hitting the metal deck. It just sounded like it was sliding across it, like it was going to set up, but it never did. And I almost kind of put the bike onto the deck. Pretty embarrassing, but I did put the bike down. And I did that as the ferry was loading, and my partner and I were the first two onto the ferry, so a whole bunch of cars and trucks all loading on, all got to see my bike on the ground. Which then I had to spend a little bit over an hour on this ferry with everybody looking at me going, hey, that's the guy who dropped the bike, that's the guy, including an old man who pulled up next to me and said, how heavy is that thing? And pretty heavy. But when you're embarrassed, then you got to get that bike back up. You don't think about taking a picture of it for your YouTube videos. You just think about getting that thing back up and getting away from that scene as quick as possible. And of course, you get it back up and you look for any damage. But like I said, it's amazing how it just was like a slow motion thing. The kickstand just never grabbed. It slid backwards. My fault, not blaming the metal deck. I'm just saying what was happening. Metal kickstand on a metal deck. Sounded like it was going into the right position. Felt like it was going into the right position. And it just leaned the bike all the way over to the point where I couldn't pull it back up by myself. So it had to go all the way to the ground. No damage whatsoever. I spent the next half hour looking at that bike for every inch of that bike, looking for any kind of scratches. Nothing. So I got away lucky with that one. Just a bruised ego. But first time I dropped the bike, first time I laid it on its side, and I was able to get over that. But that wasn't really a moving drop or a rolling drop. That was bad kickstand. So that was number one. Embarrassing as it was, I got over it pretty quickly. Enjoyed a trip all the way down to Myrtle Beach and all the way back. A couple of bike issues, mechanical, all taken care of. Bike is back up and running great. So the other day, now we'll move on to fall number 2, drop number 2. The other day, my friend calls me and tells me about bike night up by him. I says, well, there's a bike night down here too. And he decided, well, you and the other guy live opposite sides. Meet at my house. Whoever gets here first will go toward their house. And so I got up there pretty quick. And the other guy took a nap and never woke up. So we ended up having to ride towards his house anyway because it was going to take him too long for us to match up. So what we decided to do is take a ride over to the Lakewood Blue Claws Stadium parking lot, where they do motorcycle training for the MSF classes. And we started doing some practice drills before we were going to meet up with our other friend and head over to Mulligan's Bar and Grill in Farmingdale, New Jersey for bike night. And we headed over to the parking lot. I'm sorry if you can hear it in my voice, I'm sick. I haven't been able to kick this. COVID negative so far. I've tested a couple times, negative. Just a head and chest cold, trying to kick. Anyway, we headed up to Mulligan's. Actually, we headed to the Blue Claw Stadium and we did some practice drills. And my friend is a motorcycle instructor, so he was putting me through some tight turns, and we were doing our best doing a cat and mouse around the course. And our other friend was there, finally showed up. And when he came over, my friend who was leading me in the cat and mouse kind of stopped short in the middle of a circle. And I stopped. I didn't hit him, but I was already so far leaned into the curve that I dropped the bike. So at probably, what are you doing, 8 miles an hour in these circles? I did come to a complete stop, but the bike was leaning over so much. It just happened so quick. And I made that mistake of dropping the bike the second time. This time, without laying it down. This time, it still went down pretty soft, but it did take my highway peg, my cruising highway peg, and twist it a little bit and put a little scratch in that. And the cage that goes around my saddlebag got a tiny scratch. I mean, you have to look for these scratches. They're tiny. The bike did go over extremely lightly. Just embarrassing again. If I thought for these videos, I would have grabbed my camera and taken a picture of it laying on the ground to prove to you. But I think telling you, why would I lie about something like that? But when you put it on the ground, you're just so embarrassed. You just got to get that bike back up off the ground as fast as possible. So, and I don't know about you, but I become like Hercules. I got more muscles than you could imagine. Lift that bike up as quick as possible so nobody sees it laying on the ground. I'm laughing now. My buddy, Krabby, call him Krabby, he just looked at me and shook his head and said, "What are you going to do?" I said, "Apparently nothing." He goes, "That's right, we're just going to ride. Get back on the bike. Let's go." And we took off to Mulligan's for bike night and had a great night. But I did turn to Joe and say, Krabby, I turned to him and said, but how was I doing before that? You know, you're like the coach and I'm trying to emulate you and want to be a good rider. You know, I want to be real tight in these turns and all this self-control stuff. And he goes, I don't know, you were behind me. So right there it tells you why we call him Krabby. But good guy, great guy. And he always wants us to learn, me and my other buddy. He always wants us to learn and get better and better and better because it makes it better for all of us. It makes it a much more enjoyable ride and going out to these different places. So anyway, we finished up at the Blue Claws parking lot. We headed up to Mulligan's, and we get up to Mulligan's pub night and bike night, and they got a live band out back, and there's hundreds of bikes there already. And of course, man, I just dropped the bike. Now I'm pulling into a parking lot with a couple hundred bikes, and everybody's just staring at you, and you just feel like everybody's eyes are on you. Hope this guy don't hit my bike, or hope this guy don't drop his bike, or let's see if he knows what he's even doing. He's probably an idiot. Well, that's how you feel when you got that many eyes on you about 10 minutes after you dropped your bike. So anyway, did good, get in and out of there. Again, I'm back after 32 years of being away. I've ridden a couple bikes here and there, but this is my my first owned bike in 32 years where I can ride regularly, including just jumping on it the other day, 2 days after bike night with my friend Krabby, jumping on the bike with my wife and just riding the back roads for a little over an hour. No, excuse me, a little over 100 miles for a couple hours, and stopping out in beautiful Chatsworth, New Jersey, where there's a little like lemonade stand on steroids out there where we all stop, bike, stop, cars, stop everybody, because there's absolutely nothing out there. Except this little stand, and they do a good job actually for what they have out there, and everybody stops. A lot of bikes. It's a great place to stop and meet other people, and in over 90-degree weather, we were sweating so bad we had to get a drink. But anyway, the bike is running great. Dropped it twice now. No real damage at all. Tiny scratches. So I got that fear of dropping my bike out of my head now, because right now, and I'm talking, listen, I'm out on the road, different story. Parking lot drop, couple scratches, nothing to worry about. So we're just going to keep practicing those slow speed skills and see how much better we can get. But thanks for watching, and keep them two wheels to the ground, and hope to see you again. Stick with me. Take care. Have a great day.